The Union has unveiled sweeping new legislation to curb the power and content of big tech companies. Well, authorities could try to break up companies like Google or Facebook if they don't comply with the new restrictions. Well, let's get more now from our business editor, Kate Moody. Kate, what more do we know about these proposals outlined in Brussels today?
Well, Tom, these are two separate proposals, one to police content and the other to address market monopoly. The Digital Markets Act would try to tackle what regulators see as unfair competition, giving small tech companies more leverage here. Non-compliance could lead to fines of up to 10% of global revenues. And if companies are found to be repeat offenders, European authorities say they could take steps to structurally separate their businesses. Some of the issues that they're going to be looking at here, as an example, a search for a certain type of product on an Apple device should, in theory, showcase all possible matches, not pushing ones that are made by Apple itself. That's the kind of thing that they're talking about here. The Digital Services Act, meanwhile, would make companies oversee and remove illegal or harmful content, also with a fine there that could amount to billions of euros. All of this, of course, will need to be debated. The European Parliament and all 27 member states will need to approve any final legislation. So that means that it could take several years before any of this really takes effect. Most of the firms that would be targeted here are based in the United States, and the Trump administration in particular has accused Brussels of waging a war on American businesses. The EU's competition chief, Margaret Vestager, however, said it was merely a matter of updating the bloc's rules for the digital age. Take a listen.
Now we have such an increase in the online traffic that we need to make rules that put order into chaos.
OK, and Kate, I mean, the EU by no means alone, is it, in trying to toughen up rules? And I'm just wondering how other countries are approaching big tech regulation.
Well, in many other countries, it's a bit more of a piecemeal process. The UK has today outlined its own plan to regulate online safety with a possible fine of up to 10% of global turnover, so a bit more than the European 6% on that particular front. Last week, London said it would be creating its own new digital regulator as well, post-Brexit, which would tailor rules on competition to different business models. In many ways, the United States has struggled to catch up here. It's investigating past behavior rather than focusing on the future regulation. In the last week, the Federal Trade Commission has announced a probe into how social media firms deal with data privacy. And last week, it filed a major lawsuit against Facebook over its acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. We're seeing similar moves towards regulation in India, Australia, even in China, where Google and Facebook are actually among the websites that are officially blocked. Beijing last week unveiled new draft legislation that would prevent monopolies in the tech sector. And this week it's fined 3 companies, including its e-commerce giants Alibaba and Tencent, over past deals.
OK, and Kate, how has Silicon Valley been reacting to all of this then?
Well, shares of many of the tech giants that would be targeted by this legislation, if it is really brought into effect, they've dropped on Wall Street. A statement from Google expressed concern that the EU appears to be, quote, specifically targeting a handful of companies, making it harder for them to develop new products to support small businesses in Europe. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce echoed those concerns, criticizing the focus on American firms, which it says won't actually help European competitors. Facebook, perhaps a bit surprisingly here, has issued a statement saying that the EU proposals could help to preserve what is good about the internet. But the statement takes a bit of a turn then to say that Brussels should make sure that these rules will specifically apply to Apple as well, saying that Apple controls a whole ecosystem from device to app store and uses this power to harm developers and consumers. So that's a possible sign of division in Silicon Valley. And it raises the question, will these tech giants turn on each other as they try to survive here, or will they be able to coordinate their response to what seems to be a global tide of pending regulation against them?
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for that business update. Our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you so much.